Now it is. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Hi, we're Chantel's parents,
I'm Larry.
and I'm Maureen.
I just wanted to ask you, when we think back 8 years to when Jenna and Josh were born, and just the impact that had on all of our lives, um, what were what are some of your thoughts on how it impacted you, especially initially?
Initially, I was working, and then I gave my job up because Chantel was hospitalized, and I needed to be there with her, and to help her, to even make her the most comfortable, to make sure that the babies would stay inside as long as they could, and so that was an exciting time for us, but also a very scary time. How about you, Larry?
Well, initially we were joyed to be having Chantel to be having twins, but as the problems progressed, it became very, very serious, and it was something new in our family, and it had a great effect on our whole family.
Mm-hmm. Those first few years were really important for me to have you with me, and partly because I, I just needed my mom and dad, and you understood, and I didn't have to worry about my house. Can you maybe just give us an idea of what those first couple years were like, um, in terms of the how you contributed to keeping us afloat?
Well, I would say Larry was really good because he let me go down and almost live at your place lots of times, 3 and 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I would stay down with you. And at the time, our son was in Saskatchewan, so it was a busy, busy time for us. So Larry went there, and I stayed here, and I think it was just really good that I was be able to do the housework and keep Terry's shirts ironed, and not some, well, make meals, but I wasn't that great of a cook, so
Wow.
I was more of the housekeeper, and it was great.
Well, the fortunate part about it, we lived within 60 miles of Chantal and Terry, and we were able to drive down almost on a daily basis if we required. And as parents, you do everything possible under these circumstances.
And we really wanted the best for them, and as a parent, you really hurt for your kids, and to see Terry and Chantel really struggling a bit, with the whole situation. It was a very emotional time for all of us.
Um, in terms of, now, when you can look back on these last 8 years, what do you think the impact has been for you in your lives?
Well, I think that the big impact is the joy of having Jenna, associating with her and seeing her strengths, and also it helps us to think more of parents who do have children with disabilities, and the trauma they go through, and the burden that they carry, and it just gives us a greater appreciation of life.
Yeah.
For me, Jenna is such a joy. She is just such a blessing, and to think of not having her is just overwhelming. And I think the impact it has with the other 2 little girls, Giovanna and Jaden, big impact on their lives. You're just not the same. You're not the same family. You're just they're more compassionate, and it really builds character into siblings.
Good. I was trying to think anything else.
Tips.
Yeah, if you were to give some tips, just based on your own experience with us in hindsight, what would they be for other people outside of the family, in terms of how to be helpful at different stages, of people's lives with special needs kids?
Well, I think as parents, you want to give all the support and encouragement you can, and never give up on hope for improvement. Certainly, Jenna is much has much more abilities than was originally anticipated. Never give up hope. There's always improvements, and we have seen this, and I guess that would be my greatest thing to.
I think for me, tips when people would come for a visit or to drop food off, if they would just be really sensitive to the situation, and if the baby were sleeping, not to want to hold it or not to come in, if they just could be so considerate to just come and drop things off and just not stay for only a few minutes, because you don't want to have to worry about what you look like or how your house is or people coming all the time. So it's just, to me, I was more concerned with making Chantal and Terry comfortable with the situation. And it depends on how many people, but it seemed like in their case they had a lot of people that came to the door, and I just was more, Chantal emotionally wasn't set for a lot of company. She really had to think through things, and all of us were in that state. So I would say, if you're coming, only just stay for a little bit of a time, or don't just send a note or something else, just to try and give us some time. That would be my thing.